I think here we are. Last year you were interviewing me, and this year I'm interviewing you. Just tells how much we've stuck to the game and to the platforms, and we're
Yeah.
still here. So, Dharya, I just have one word for you. You're a true hustler. Everywhere, any platform that I see, it's all up to date, it's all content being pushed. I see the merch that you sent to your team and everything, and it just shows how balanced you are in terms of everything, platform wise, workshop wise, job wise. And you getting your recent promotion is also a testimony to the fact that you don't have to compromise either on freelancing or working independently plus managing your 9 to 5, because then you won't have got that promotion. So you have been managing it all, but in this interview I want to go behind the scenes of how you do it, because I think that's a cheat code we would love to copy paste and implement. And also your journey on LinkedIn and how did it transform your career choices. And then we'll be ending it with a rapid fire because I need to get all the juicy answers out of you. So are you ready?
I'm completely ready and very excited. Thanks for that introduction, Unnati. Really means a lot. And I think the tables have turned. You were interviewing me today. So I'm looking forward to you hosting me and asking me some questions and getting your answers. To actually answer your first question, which is about my backstory and how I manage the multiple things that I do, I think that the fact that it started from nothingness, why I call it nothingness is because I never knew I would be doing what I'm doing today. There was
Oh,
no plan. There was nothing. It was random. One fine day. Always had a LinkedIn account right from second year because in my college, seniors were good with guiding and telling make a LinkedIn account. It'll help you in your job. But what beyond that was not told to me. So account bana ke I left it, but I
okay.
never knew that I was going to use it so extensively in my life ever. So no one told me to do it, so I never did it. I got a job pre-placement offer from the campus, tab bhi use nahi kiya. So 4 years of my engineering, I didn't use it, right?
Okay.
And then after I got the job, 2 months right after I got the job and finished my 6 months internship with them last year, July end. I don't know what, something randomly happened. I saw a lot of people, talking about LinkedIn and saying, join LinkedIn, it's a great platform, etc. But my question to them was, I have a job, I've done internships, what will I get out of the platform? I mean, being very honest, because all I used to think LinkedIn is a job seeking platform.
Yeah.
So I was like, how is it going to benefit me? And then people told me, no, it can help you build a personal brand, you can build a network. That is all they said. And then I'm like, okay, fine. I had like a 2 month break, nothing to do between my full time job and internship, literally nothing. And I was like, what's the harm in experimenting? Let's just try. Account is already there. Let me probably refine it and revamp it and start creating content. So I did that. I took about a day, sat and updated my bio, my banner, everything, did everything, optimized it, read a little bit about LinkedIn and how do you do it. I observed some profiles, and then I was like, now what? And then I saw a lot of people used to keep creating content consistently. So I was like, maybe I should be posting here as well, right? So then I experimented, and then the first post kind of got like 20, 23 likes in like 3 days, and I was very happy. I was like, it's good. So I was like, let's create more content and see how it goes. So that's how it started, literally with no aim. And I used to just put quotes, being very honest. I used to put motivational content instead of quotes. Any quote I used to come across, I felt it resonated with me. I would put my point of view on it and done. For the first 1.5 months, that's all that I did. I wouldn't say I was honestly contributing or adding value in any way. But then I saw that people somehow were liking it and my perspective and my stories. And then I was like, it's enough. I'm not a motivational speaker. That's not what I want to do. So I
Mhm.
was like, now what? What kind of value can I add from my experience and learnings? And then I niched down. And then I started, sharing my tips on resumes and LinkedIn and my placement journey, my failures, how I didn't get into my dream job. And that post had gone viral and all of that, right? So then I started niching down and came into this career space. And because I think why my growth was exponential was only because of one reason. I two reasons. One, I was truly myself. I just showed who I was. And number two, at that point of time, students and working professionals were really lost because the pandemic had just hit and they actually wanted a mentor to help them with all of these things, resumes and LinkedIn and career guidance and interview prep. So I think that's why it skyrocketed the way it did. And I think ever since then I haven't looked back. LinkedIn has, I always say this, Apart from my full-time job, whatever I have been able to do, I owe it to LinkedIn.
Wow. Okay. Off the recording, I need to ask you the difference between CV and resume because I
Sure.
still don't know it. But
Sure.
okay. So this was last year that you came on LinkedIn?
Yes,
Are
last
you
year,
serious?
July
Oh
end.
my God. That's
Yeah.
that's that's exponential growth then.
Yes.
Got it. And okay, so how do you put content on an everyday basis, or how are you so consistent? Like, do you plan your posts on Sunday, Saturday, or the weekend, or do you think it on the go and then curate it? Like, how is the brainstorming, and what are your go-to platforms if you need to research or anything?
Yeah. So when you talk about planning my content, when I started off, very random. It was
Mhm,
very, very random. And I think it stayed the same for about 3 months.
mhm.
After which I thought, you know what, like everyone was like, schedule your content or plan it. I tried. I did it. I did it for about a month. I used
Okay.
to plan my content 2 times a week. If I'm not wrong. And that time I used to post 3 times a week. So I
Okay.
used to just sit and curate those posts, and then I did that. But somehow, I don't know, planning did not work for me. I mean, I used to do all my research pehle se karke, and 1 month I did it also consistently. I followed it with discipline. It just didn't work for the kind of person I am. And then I was back on track. Naturally, spontaneously, something comes to my mind. I'll pick up my phone. I don't even make notes. I pick up my phone. I start writing. I will edit it. I will improvise it if I feel there are some errors. And whatever's coming to my mind, I post it. And I think ever since then, it's been about 7 months. I haven't planned my content. I do it randomly. So you must have also noticed, like yesterday I made a post. Today, I don't know, I didn't feel like posting. Somehow I didn't post. So I have not put it as an imposition on me ki karna hi karna hai. That's why I think it comes more naturally on a consistent basis. There have been gaps and pockets. I know there have been times where 3 days in a row I've not posted. But overall, if you check my consistency, I've tried to post every day. So I think because it comes naturally, I'm able to do it randomly. So once I get free from office, like around 7:38, that is the usual time. Between 8 to 9ish is when I post every day if I get time. And if a thought does not strike my mind, like today it did not, I'll not post. Right? Even though I have something to promote. I didn't feel like it, I didn't do it. So honestly, that's the strategy I follow. And if you talk about platforms I go to, I think in general, if I'm looking for some, I would say specific insights, because mine's related to careers and all of that, I generally go to, I forgot the name. It's called insider.com or
Yeah,
insiderjobs.
yeah,
Insider. They've got some amazing articles. I love reading the articles. I also check out Forbes from time to time or Harvard's articles if it's handy. Or other than that, I'll just check out Instagram pages of people who I follow and try and get some idea wherein I can bring my perspective.
yeah.
Other than that, it's honestly from my daily life and learnings, and I take mentoring sessions. So when I hear what problems students are having, right? If something strikes my mind, okay, maybe I could answer this person's question here through a post. So I do that.
Got it. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. Do you think scheduling post decreases your reach? Like, what's your take on that?
I'm not sure if it reduces the reach, but I feel it kind of makes it too planned and too thought of and too calculated, right? It becomes like a business or something like that. Then it doesn't come like the content creation process jo hoti hai. So I feel that because when I went into that mode, I felt like someone was forcing me or pushing me to do it. Ki, I have to sit and make a schedule and put it. It just doesn't come organically to me.
Mm.
But if you look at my case, actually the reach had gone down then also.
Okay. Okay.
When I started scheduling the content, I remember that people were somehow not engaging as much as they would when I was posting naturally. So that was my personal use case. I don't know how it is with others, but yeah, that was my experience.
Got it. I see a very strong mindset at a very young age. What do you consume on a daily basis to keep you this on point? Uh, you know,
Yeah.
like, do you consume any books, Netflix series, anything? I just got done with this show called or movie called Intern
Intern,
on Netflix.
Netflix.
And I'm pretty sure I am going to make an organization like that where
Yeah.
everybody is free, working out of
Working.
internet, and yeah,
Correct.
everybody is well looked after. But, anyways, what do you watch on a daily basis, or what do you consume on a daily basis to keep you this motivated and everything? You
I don't
like
read
which book?
books. I don't read books.
Wow.
That's like a thing that I'm probably putting out there for the first time. I've read very limited books. I can literally count them on the tip of my fingers. I have read The Secret
Mhm.
and The Secret ka second part, which is the superpower or the magic something. And I've read this one, Ikigai. These are the three books that I've read. That's it. So I'm not a book person. I love consuming content online. I can literally go ahead and read articles from anywhere. You give it to me, I'll read it. I can go through people's LinkedIn posts. I'm a person who absorbs more from internet articles and podcasts and people. I think I'm very good at absorbing things from people. So when I interview a lot of people, I honestly learn a lot from the people who I call on my Instagram lives or on my talk show that I have offline on a platform.
Yeah.
I honestly truly learn so much from those individuals. And second podcast, I think I consume Ranveer Alabadia's podcast very, very diligently, the Ranveer show. I also, tune into On Purpose by Jay Shetty whenever I get the
Okay.
time.
Okay.
There is also this podcast by Bijay Gautam. I don't know if many people know about it, but it's a good one, The Inspiring Talks. He brings on some amazing minds on the podcast. These are three podcasts I try to tune into whenever I get time. Nothing like a religion or anything. And yeah, I follow all of their Instagram handles and YouTube channels also. That's
Okay.
all that I get time for. On Netflix, I don't watch a lot of, I would say, series, but I love things like on a personal end, I love Money Heist and Suits. Those are the kind of
Yeah.
series that I watch, right? That's kind of my genre. And yeah, I think that's it. I am not, it's been a year, I've not been consuming a lot of movies, but this is what I consume on a day to day basis. Articles and podcasts are predominantly the thing. Yeah.
Wow, you're the first person on the interview who loves podcasts and everything. Great. Looking forward to you having a podcast very soon.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, just a catch-up question. Do you also travel to your workplace or is it happening online?
No, no. Since the pandemic, it is happening offline. But I think very soon I would be called to the
Oh,
workplace. Very soon, yeah. It's gonna
oh,
happen soon, and more so over because it's a consulting job. I won't just go to the office. I'll have to start traveling to the client location.
God, it makes
Yeah,
sense. All
yeah.
right. So, what's Dhairya's ideal work-life balance right now? Like, how much time are you? And my follow-up question is, how is your family or immediate people reacting to whatever you've been doing since a year?
Yeah. So if you talk about the hours of the distribution, so Monday to Friday is obviously morning 10 to like a 7:30, 8ish. It gets stretched to that point. 7 at least, 7 p.m. is my time for my job. I take some time to relax after that. I might take maybe one odd individual mentoring session at 10 in the night, 10 to 10:30, a half an hour session on weekdays, or else I avoid taking slots on weekdays because I get exhausted after the working hours. I might have team meets or something. That's it. Saturday, Sundays are very packed for me. They're busier than my working days. So that's when I am probably up from again 10 in the morning till it goes on till 10 in the night with very small mini breaks. I'll have sessions with colleges, my individual mentoring sessions, interviews like this, or I am hosting somebody, my talk show or my IG live. All of that happens on Saturdays and Sundays. And it is hectic. My family did not react to it in a very good way initially. They didn't understand what I was doing. A year ago, they would literally question me as to I did a lot of free sessions for colleges, about 60, 65, right? All across the globe.
Wow.
60 sessions for free. And my mother always asked me, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? They never understood. And back then, even I didn't have an answer. I didn't know why I was doing it. I did it. I just went with the flow. I said, kabhi na kabhi, it will come back. Something is going to happen. I just knew that. And I was like, so they never understood what. And sometimes my sister still tells me, I don't understand what you do. And why are people even willing to call you over at such places and things like that? I'm like, yaar, kuch to hoga tabhi bula rahe. I don't know. I'm just giving my best. So I think now they've become more accepting to my schedule. They've got used to it. They know what a Saturday and Sunday will look like, and Dhairya is probably going to be able to give in only maybe an hour or two on the weekend. So they've got used to it now, and I'm happy that they're supportive of what I'm doing.
Wow, great, got it. And if I had to tell you to sum up your last 6 months in a sentence, what would it be?
So I think it's going to be a fruitful roller coaster ride where I have grown as an individual holistically. That's the one line I would say. because it's had its own ups and downs. It's had its own learnings, but it's been so fruitful in every way that every time I look back at whatever has happened, I'm only thankful and grateful because I never thought I'll be doing all of this. I was set, full-time job, go to the office, come back, be happy, contented in that. I never knew there's the other side of things. So it's only been rewarding, but with its own learnings. Yeah.
Got it. And what's the highest point in the last 1 year that you can remember or you always cherish?
I think there will be two. I would say there would have to be two. Um, the first one was, I think, when I got this. Yeah, when the first one was very recently, which was when I got selected for the Graphy by Unacademy Accelerator program. So they've selected top 50 content creators in India for their seed funding and accelerator program, and they get to interact with Ranveer Alabadia and Be Unique and all the top creators like Gaurav Taneja and all. So we get personal mentoring from them. It started last month, and it's a 3-month program. So you get to learn from the top content creators, and they also equipped us with the right gears as a content creator that you need, whether it was your tripod or your camera and everything to up your content creation game, and obviously the money that came in. But for me, I'll be very honest, like I told you, I breathe the content of people like Ranveer Alabadi and Ankur Wariku, literally breathe. And getting to interact with them, ask them questions, I didn't even look at the other benefits. It was the most amazing moment for me, right? I've not yet interacted with Ankur or Ranveer because I missed a session, but that's been like a high point for me because I've always looked at them across the screen. So yeah. And the other one I think was when I probably just had hit my first, like, I don't know, it was not because of the number, but when I hit my first 15K followers, it's the first time I understood there are followers on LinkedIn. So one of my connections on LinkedIn told
Oh,
me कि ये connections and followers होते हैं, दोनों अलग होते हैं, and you have these number of followers, which means you're doing well and you can expand and grow. And I remember I got on a 1 hour call with him to understand कि what is this game and what do I do next, because I was literally shocked. Out of nowhere someone's telling me you have 15,000 followers. I literally didn't even know there is a follower bar. Until then I was just posting content. But when I realized it was not the number, then I realized that so many people are actually consuming my content and maybe I'm impacting people. So that was a very, I would say, memorable moment for me. Yeah.
got it. And if right now a founder or somebody who wants to start growing on LinkedIn is watching this interview, what's one tip that you'll give that's your non-negotiable?
Be yourself, be authentic, and be real. I see so many people imitating so many other people on LinkedIn, and their posts go viral also. They go viral also. Okay, I'm telling you, you'll get the short term fame also, you'll get the likes, you'll get the engagement for that specific period of time, but people will not follow you for the long term, uh, to associate you with an identity who you are not. People will understand at some point or the other. So I think don't try to be someone else. Like I said, Michelle Obama is already there, Priyanka Chopra is there, Ranveer Alabadia is there. Show them who you are. We have those people
Wow.
already,
Yeah.
right? So I think that is something which worked wonders for me, and I say it very openly. I was exactly who I am. I didn't even have like a backdrop. Now you see me like on a white wall, right? I used to stay at my grandparents' place for quite a while. I had like this rugged curtain. I didn't care how I looked, where I was sitting. I would take my camera. In my first 3 months of my videos you see on LinkedIn, or 4 months, very random. I didn't care about how I was looking. I just concentrated on the content because if it came to me at that moment, I would take my camera and record it. So I
Yeah,
think
I
be
remember
real.
that backdrop. Yes,
Yes.
you're right.
Yeah. So that is what I would say.
All right. And what's the most underrated feature of LinkedIn that you think can be used more often or something?
Yeah. So yeah, this is something I discovered very lately. Very, very recently, that too through my intern, right? So one of my team members, she just said that Dhairya Dish, why don't we try putting up polls on our Dhairya Decode's LinkedIn page, company page, okay? So I said, yeah, sure, you can go ahead. Let's experiment. Let's see how it works. Trust me, I've never done polls on my, you look at all, it's been a year, I've never done a poll on my LinkedIn. Just very recently I did one, and when we started doing it on the company page also, I honestly saw that it it may not give you engagement in terms of likes and all and comments. People really vote They go ahead and they do that, and you get a lot of reach through polls. And I think that's an underrated feature which I'd not explored. It gives you a lot of reach, honestly. So I think polls is something which I've recently discovered is a good thing you can leverage to know their opinion, and then also maybe express your thoughts and all of that.
Got it. All right. And so, is Thera Decodes, or you have a registered company?
No, it's not registered yet, but I'm planning to get it done before the end of the year.
Wow. All the best for that, and congratulations on the big step.
Thank you.
All right. So, my next question is, what's one networking tip that you have for anybody who's watching this?
Yeah, I think one networking tip would be to look at your network as a community and not as followers. And when I say build relationships, I'm not saying you have to go ahead and make them your family members or dur ke
Mhm.
rishtedar or something. There's a difference between making a professional relationship and building just relationships and being friends also. So the point is, when you connect with people, I think you have to show them the value that you can bring to them before you actually go ahead and ask them for anything, right? Because
Mm.
mostly, what do you network for? Let's accept it. Either you're looking forward for a collaboration, you're looking forward to either attain some services that they are providing, or you want to call them somewhere on your talk show, interview them or something like that, right? Or get a job or an internship from them. These
Yeah.
could be some of the buckets it will fall under. So it's a transaction at the end of the day, right? So people
Yeah.
look at it as a transaction only, give and take thing.
Mm.
But when you go, when you're just starting, I think look at it only as something as to what you can provide, and then don't think about what the other person can give you, because that will come organically as a part of the process if you go with that intention of just giving and putting your best foot forward and telling them what you can help them with, right? That is what I call network building, true network building. Yeah.
Got it. And because I've taken a lot of your time, even during the pre talk, I'll move straight to the rapid fire. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Yeah.
All right. So, my first question is content or consistency?
Content.
All right. Which is one profile that everybody should follow on LinkedIn?
Ranveer Alabadia.
Wow. Twitter or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
Okay. Would you engage on comments or DMs?
Comments.
All right. And why so?
Because I feel that the route should be that you go from comments to the DMs, because what really happens is we are scrolling through social media all day. If someone has actually taken out the time through their scrolling and their own personal time to see, liking is fine. Anyone will take out a second and like, okay, or view also. But someone stopping, leaving a meaningful comment, expressing their thoughts, I think is a very big thing. And you should engage with that and then move the conversation probably to DMs or whatever.
All right. If somebody is trying to manage their work in a 9 to 5 and their side hustle, what's one advice that you would give to them?
Have your boundaries very cleared out. So I know that a 10 to 7 is for my job, post which I can do whatever I want to. It's my personal work because that is what I'm committed to in a 9 to 5 job. Saturdays and Sundays are mine and I can, utilize them the way I want to. So have your boundaries very upfront in front of your, if you're doing a 9 to 5 job, bosses and managers, you don't have to be very assertive, but just let it be out there so that they know. And while you're at your job, give it your best.
Got it. Do your bosses know about your side hustle?
Yes, they do.
All right.
And
Uh,
they're really supportive of it. So I am grateful for
wow.
that.
Blessed.
Yes.
All right. You have hired your own team and everything. What's one hiring tip that you would like to give anybody, any solopreneur who's trying to grow his or her team?
I think you should hire people who are themselves extremely motivated and have goals. And by goals, I don't mean you have to become a millionaire in 10 years or something. Just someone who's self-driven and someone who's very has has a vision, long-term vision, not even goals, that I want to do something in life. Because if they are themselves pumped individuals and motivated, they would be able to put in that energy into your initiative as well. And second thing would be, they should believe in your vision or your whatever you're trying to do
Yes.
in the same way, because only then can they align with your goals. You can't bring them to that track until and unless they are. So before you hire them, they should already be really, I would say, moved, or they should be motivated to work for the same vision that you are working for.
Got it. And I have seen a lot of solopreneurs complaining about this, but do you think sometimes we hire wrong people who just want to be our replacements or something? And have you faced that? wherein people just want to learn everything and leave, not contribute? And if yes, what's the best way to troubleshoot such things?
Yeah, that's a very good question actually. So that happens. It happens for sure. But I think for me, it has not happened, at least up till now, because of the fact that I think the kind of work that is given to them is also not like you said, it's up to their own will when they do it and etc. There are obviously deadlines and deliverables to be met. But to be very honest, the kind of hours that they give to the area decodes does not intrude or does not interrupt their day-to-day life or other things that they're doing. Because of which I feel that thought process or that mindset did not come, at least up till now. There have been people who have stayed with me for about a year and 9 months and also left
Wow.
because they got their full-time jobs. And I wouldn't want to pull down anybody. It's their career. I would want them to grow as well, right? When you have a full-time job and probably want to go ahead and pursue it, you wouldn't want to do an internship that you're doing, and that's completely fine. I think, but none of them have tried to learn everything and leave, and that's been great. So I think, but if that happens, and this I've learned again from Ranveer's one-on-one session that we had very recently on Graphy, and I couldn't attend it, so I was not there. His is the only session I couldn't attend, unfortunately. I saw the recording of it because we get access to the recordings, and he said this, that how do you handle people who are not the right who are not the right fit for your team, and how do you fire them, right? So he just said one thing, that when you realize that someone is probably not fulfilling what you're expecting out of them, and you have given them all the warnings and signals and sub kar liya hai, right? But they're still not able to align and they're slacking off. You have to be brutally upfront, and you have to be rude and be that bad boss for once, but you have to let go of and cut off those people if you want to grow, because the firm would become stagnant or your organization would not grow then. And he said you might feel bad, you might feel guilty, the first firing will feel guilty, but you'll get used to it after the third or fourth one. So that's the only way.
And my last question is, and thank you for gorgeously answering all the questions. What's one quote or line that gives you that push whenever you're down, or has made you go on and be so consistent everywhere? Like, what is it, that one line by parents, mentors, quote, anything?
Yeah, so I think that there is this phrase, right? This too shall pass, right? People, a lot of people say it, and why I believe in it is because at every point of time when I've hit rock bottom, and it's happened quite a couple of times, or
Oh,
when something has happened that really was unexpected, or just things don't go your way. I always think about that because I truly believe that. I think I recently put up this yesterday also, that the dots are connected backwards always. You can't connect the dots forwards. You have to always connect it backwards, because only when you look back do you understand why something happens, or why an event really happens, or why you meet a certain person, or whatever it is. So, overall, if you ask from the life perspective, I think this too shall pass is something I truly believe in, because everything is a phase, right? And they say change is the only constant. Today you may be at the high, then you will be at your low, but it's all about how you get back again. So I think if you keep telling yourself that this is also a phase and it will pass, whether it's good or it's bad, right? And then again the cycle will repeat. I think that's what keeps me going.
got it. Thank you so much for this wonderful, wonderful session, Dhairya. I think I've had the most productive 40 minutes of today. So, yeah,
Thank
thank you for joining me and Story. And
you.
yeah, all the
My
very
pleasure.
best. I can't wait to see where Dhairya Decode reaches after 365 days, because you've built it so far in 365 days, like a year. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all
Thank you
the
so much, Unnati. I love the questions. I love the rapid fire. I think I've not answered questions so rapidly. I did one previous rapid fire, but this was a lot of fun. And thank you so much for having me.